Hey guys, what's going on? It's Eli with Little Blue, and yep, continuing on, of course, with season 2 of The Mandalorian. Now we're up to chapter 15, The Believer. And yeah, what did we think of this? What do we have to say about this? This was a pretty good episode.
Well, I think I told you the title. Still, every title for every episode of The Mandalorian has been, it's been easily understood. But The Believer,
They make sense of what's going on.
I'm having a hard time figuring out how that ties into the episode. Maybe it has to do with the sacrifice that Mando has to make.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe, the fact that he becomes a believer in his cause to get the kid back. But what ends up happening is you open up with Megs Mayfield on a prison planet, and he's actually the new Republic, and he's actually taken custody of by Marshal Cara Dune.
Yes,
who has, of course, helped Mando spring him, and gets him to help them basically break the code on the Imperial computer database to get the location of Moff Gideon's light cruiser.
right.
So what ends up happening is they recruit him, and he's a little more of a willing participant than I thought. You can tell he definitely has a fear of Mando.
Hell yeah.
Because when he first sees Boba Fett, he thinks, "Oh, for a minute I thought you were this other Mandalorian." I know,
But you were saying,
and then Mandalorian
Din Djarin
comes in, and he's like, "Hey, Mando, it was a long time no see."
Yeah.
And you can just see, you come all this way to kill me?
Yep.
But they recruited him, so they go to this planet where they locate the hub where they need to go to get into the computer, and it turns out it's a military garrison, of course, Imperial garrison, where they have this energy source that they use, and they're transporting it. Evidently, they mine it on this planet, and they transport it, and they're using it as an energy source. But it's also highly volatile, highly explosive. So when it's transported, they have to keep the speed of the transports up so much so it doesn't get volatile. If it goes too fast, it'll get volatile and it can explode. Meanwhile, there are pirates who are trying to sabotage these shipments of this highly volatile substance.
And not to mention at that point, because Din Djarin, he changes outfits,
Yes,
disguising himself.
They commandeer one of these transports that are big wheeled vehicles rolling along the ground, and Mayfeld and Mando disguises themselves as stormtroopers, transport pilots for these transports.
That's right.
These vehicles, and Mayfeld's giving him a rough time about having to actually put on a different helmet, and saying, "Is it but that you can't show your face, or you just can't wear a different helmet?" Mando's not saying anything, and what ends up happening is they get pirates end up trying to take over the vehicle.
Yes.
And Mando fights them off. Really good action scene, and they make it to this. This installation, this Imperial installation. They get in. Mayfeld is supposed to go in and access this computer terminal to find the location of Moff Gideon's light cruiser.
Right.
And he's starting in. He sees his former commanding officer, because, of course, Megs Mayfeld is a former Imperial trooper. He wasn't a stormtrooper. He was a soldier.
Right.
And he can't go in because he's afraid his superior officer will recognize him and he'll blow their cover. So Mando says, "Give me the key, and I'll do it." And he says, "You don't understand. It will have to have facial recognition." So Mando says, "Give it to me anyway." He takes it, and he gets the computer terminal. Computer terminal starts to scan him with his helmet on.
That's right. That's about to say, we see his face once again.
And he realizes he's going to have to take his helmet off. So he does.
Yep.
And
that's his only option.
Not only do several Imperial troopers see him with his helmet off, but Megs Mayfeld ends up seeing him, because his former superior officer approaches and is questioning Mando, and he's standing there without his helmet on, and he's just got a deer in the headlight stare, so he doesn't know what to do. Mayfeld comes in, saves the day.
Yep.
Because they're asking, this imperial officer is asking for his TK number.
Right.
He doesn't know.
Yeah.
Mayfeld knows. He makes up a number and gives him a number and makes an excuse for him. They said when the superior officer finds out that they were the transport pilots that got their shipment through, he invites them to sit down for a drink.
Yes.
And when he sits down and starts to talk to him, he brings up old battles and brings up one old battle that Mayfeld was in and lost all of his comrades except him and maybe a handful of others.
Right.
And he's watching this his former superior officer just sit there and talk about it like it was just a happy story, and it was anything but, because 5,000 to 10,000 people, troopers lost their lives in it, along with innocent lives. So finally, Mayfeld's had enough. He just pulls his blaster and blows him away. And of course, he and Din Djarin are looking at each other, and Din Djarin's like, "What did you just do?"
Yeah.
And then they have to blast.
We're screwed now.
They have to blast their way out. Meantime, you've got Cara Dune and Fennec Shan.
Yep, they're on a hill.
They're up on a mountaintop with as sharpshooters, and they're picking these Imperial officers and these stormtroopers off the top of this installation, which allows Din Djarin and Mayfeld to escape.
Right.
Meanwhile, Boba Fett warms up Slave One. He flies in, rescues them, and as they're flying away, they're being pursued by TIE fighters.
Yeah.
Then you see the back of Slave One open up, and what do we see? Revealed, good old seismic charges.
Yes.
Greatest sound effect in Star Wars universe, in my opinion.
Yeah, and a callback to Attack of the Clones, know, and with Obi-Wan, seismic charges, stand by,
One seismic depth charge, or one seismic charge, takes out 2 TIE fighters.
Yeah.
And they get away. They let Mayfeld go because he actually takes a sharpshooter's rifle and destroys the installation with one shot.
Yeah.
Even Fennec Shan and
Cara
Dune remark at what a good shot it was.
Yeah.
So
it seems like what's the name again?
Fennec Shan?
No, the other one with
Cara Dune.
No, the other one.
Megs Mayfeld.
Megs Mayfeld. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It seems though that he's kind of changed.
He has changed. This episode didn't go the way I thought, because I thought he's going to be the antagonist. To a certain degree, he was. He was kind of smart-mouthed at first, but then it was like after he sat down and he's watching his former superior officer talk about this, it's like everything comes back to him, and he ends up being a good guy. He ends up being a good guy.
Yes, he does.
And he really is a good guy deep down. He's just kind of been put in a bad position and had to survive the best way he could. So, again, he ends up helping to save the day. They let him go with the cover story that prisoner number whatever it was, was killed in this explosion in this installation.
Like you could remember those numbers,
Exactly. So
yeah,
he ends up getting away, and they let him go.
Right.
And now they're off to find Moff Gideon's light cruiser.
Right.
But not before you see the last scene.
Yeah.
Moff Gideon on his light cruiser. Commanding officer comes in and says, "Moff Gideon, you'll want to see this." And it's a communique.
And who else? Then it's Mando / Din Djarin.
Mando.
He has a special message for Moff Gideon.
Holographic image. And he says, "Moff Gideon," he says, "you have something I want." He says, "You don't know." He says, "You don't know what it is, or you don't know how important it is to me." He says, "But it is very important. It is very important to me."
Kind of copying what Moff Gideon
said in the next to the last episode of season 1, right?
Right.
Chapter 7.
Moff Gideon says the same thing, like you have something I want.
Exactly. You have something I want, and Mando says the same thing. And the look on Moff Gideon's face is just he knows he's he knows he's in trouble because he knows that Mando's
Now
after
he's
him.
getting scared of Mando.
Yeah, you can literally see fear in his eyes when he's watching that holographic message from Mando.
Correct.
So that's how it ends. So now we'll see what happens
is-
next week with chapter 16, the final chapter until next Christmas. Oh.
The Believer is the only episode, and it's true. And you told me this before we watched it, because it's the first episode of The Mandalorian where Grogu does not appear at all.
Grogu is not in this episode at all.
No.
He is somewhere locked away.
Even say when we cut to Moff Gideon at the end and his Star Destroyer.
Yeah, and I even thought at the end, when they showed Moff Gideon's light cruiser that we
Not
would
even
see
a small appearance of Grogu.
that we would see Grogu.
Yeah,
but
not
we
even
did not see him.
Not even a small appearance of him would have hurt. You know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it was a good episode.
Yes, and with it being called The Believer, there's something to it. You know.
There is something to it, and I think The Believer is. I think really, what it probably comes down to is that the Believer has something to do with not only Mando realizing that he believes in something stronger than the Mandalorian creed that he took.
Right.
But also I think Megs Mayfeld became a believer in the cause because he realized just what he'd been a part of.
Yeah.
And he realized
probably those two things.
what a terrible thing it was.
Yeah.
And he came to that realization with Moff, when he realized that he played a part in the destruction of people's lives.
Yeah. So it's probably those two things.
Yeah, I would say that that's exactly what it means. But we may read into it a little more later. But that was my takeaway on it. Great episode.
And this episode was directed by the same director, who directed 2 episodes from season 1.
Exactly.
And the one with what's his face, from
Rick. I cannot
from chapter 6, The Prisoner.
Can't pronounce his last name.
With what's his name again? The character.
Megs Mayfeld.
Yeah, because the director directed 2 episodes with him, Megs Mayfield. So.
Megs Mayfeld.
Megs Mayfield. Okay.
Yeah.
But and again, we've got one more episode left. Chapter 16.
One episode left. Chapter 16. We'll see it soon.
Yes. It's right around the corner, etc. So
6 days away.
Yes, it'll be interesting to see what happens. And you said that it could leave off on another cliffhanger, just like in season 1. I don't see why not.
I'm thinking 2 things. It's going to be left off on a season with a season cliffhanger, where the child is in danger, and something is about to happen, and they kill it right there. And they're going to make you wait a whole nother year.
I know.
A whole year. More than a year. Like a year and a week.
Yeah.
So it's going to be, we're talking 372 days, basically, that we're going to have to wait until the next episode where we resume. So here's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that they get the kid back.
Yeah.
They off Moff Gideon. They're going to have to do that because they got to make room for Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Well, we'll see. But that's the thing. The ending to season 1 kind of left off. It kind of ended with a happy ending, but with a cliffhanger.
Right. I'll be honest with you. I don't want to see Moff Gideon go. He's a great bad guy.
I don't think he's gonna. I don't think so.
No, I don't either. I love the actor. He's a great guy. And he does a great job with that character. Right. I don't think they're going to kill him off.
No.
I have speculated, and I've said this before, that possibly Boba Fett's going to give his life to save the child, and Mando's going to end up with his ship.
That could probably not happen either.
You don't think that's going to happen?
No.
Probably not, because Boba Fett is such a legend that to kill him now would be
I don't think they'd have the guts to kill him off.
Yeah, but I think what's probably going to end up happening, the more I think about it, I really think that probably Mando's going to end up with another. He's going to end up with another ship like he has.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's going to be there's another Razor Crest out there somewhere. There is.
Exactly.
So I think that's what's going to happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So once again, what do we think of The Believer, chapter 15?
2 thumbs way up.
2 thumbs way up. It was great.
It was a great episode.
And until chapter 16.
Chapter 16, whatever that ends up being titled.
I know. And what's going to happen, like the opening, etc.
Exactly.
And with its ending, as we were saying.
Yep.
And you guys let us know what you think of Chapter 15, The Believer. If you enjoy it, just let us know. Leave comments down below. And again, we give it 2 thumbs up, way up, 10 out of 10, etc.
Right? 2 thumbs way up.
Yeah. So, with that being said, we hope you enjoyed our review of Chapter 15, The Believer. More reviews on your way. Keep looking forward. They're going to be awesome. And, of course, continuing with The Mandalorian, Season 2. Again, 1 more episode to go, Chapter 16. So, any last words?
This is the way.
Yep. Little Blue says, this is the way. For me, again, we hope you enjoyed our review, and we'll see you guys in the next video /review video. Take care. Peace out. And we have spoken.